Microsoft announced this week they are raising the price of Game Pass Ultimate by 50%.
What have you done?
Xbox is f***ing us. Yes.
Xbox Game Pass is getting an upgrade.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am done with Xbox. And no, I'm not here to start some console war crap or anything like that at all. To be honest, I don't even enjoy playing on console at all anymore. Well, I do like playing on my Switch too every once in a while. But let's be real. Xbox has been going downhill this entire generation, and it's come at the cost of the consumer. And you might be wondering, who am I to really talk about this subject? Well, my name is Killer Cam, and I'm a handheld gaming content creator primarily. However, I do talk about gaming consoles and other things related to gaming from time to time, including some reviews even. I did a PS5 Pro review. You guys should go check that video out, by the way. I'm here talking to you today without a script to basically just discuss to you how Xbox has misled all their consumers. And to be honest, it really comes down to Xbox Game Pass. So when Xbox Game Pass first came out, in my opinion, it was a revolution and something that was celebrated widely. I mean, I never thought that I could pay, a little bit of money a month and get all these games for free, essentially. Well, for rent. You don't really own the games. But they included even their first party games day one when they first released. That was awesome. However, what I quickly recognized at the time was that Xbox Game Pass as a subscription service was designed to get people on the hook. What I mean by that is when you look back at Xbox Game Pass, the original way they got people into it was by offering a deal for the first month to be $1. It is essentially offering someone a free sample of a drug in the game Schedule 1. So with that $1 in your first month, you are given access to so many games essentially free at little to no cost to the consumer. And as soon as that month ends, however, all those games go away and you start getting withdrawals. And so you start paying the subscription to keep it going, right? And then you play more games on it and you get hooked on those games. And then they release more games and then they release a schedule of all these other games that are coming out. And you start saying, okay, well, I'll just keep paying. And then what does that do to Xbox? What does that say to them? It says, well, we have a base now that we can essentially manipulate into paying more over time because they're hooked on our product. So what they've steadily done is just increase the price to a price point that is almost intolerable at this point for console gamers to really justify. I mean, $30 a month for Game Pass Ultimate is crazy, but that's not at all what this video is about. That is a complaint of mine that it is absurd that they've raised the price to $30 a month for consoles and $16 a month for PC. That's not the worst thing that Xbox has really done. That's just one of the ways that they've manipulated the consumer. But at the core of this, what I really think was the turning point for Xbox was the Activision Blizzard deal. And this was something that I defended Xbox for when it first started. So when Xbox first announced that they were acquiring Activision Blizzard, I thought, well, this is good. It encourages each of the big companies to cater to the consumer more than they normally would when you have more competition. That's why competition is good. Competition is a great thing, people. We don't want Xbox to die. We don't want Xbox to exit the console game. Because then when Xbox leaves the console game, then PlayStation can price their console whatever they want to price it at, right? We don't want that to happen. When they bought Activision Blizzard, they saw the numbers that Activision was making. They saw that they could make money without selling hardware. They could make more money for their shareholders without selling hardware because hardware sales have been declining this generation, they realized. But if they can sell Call of Duty every year without selling hardware, there's no sunk cost. I mean, there is sunk cost in developing Call of Duty every year, of course. It's less risk for a higher reward. If they can sell Call of Duty to every single console out there and PC, then they don't need to sell a console to make money. And that's led to another issue where Xbox is trying to stop you from buying an Xbox. They don't want you to buy an Xbox anymore, it seems, because they have raised the price of the Xbox Series X throughout the console generation. And you guys, hold on. You guys might be saying, whoa, Killer Cam, that's because of tariffs. That's because of Trump.
We're going to be putting a very large tariff on chips and semiconductors.
That's not the only reason. The tariffs are there as a more of a scapegoat for them to raise prices. Yeah, components cost more because there's tariffs or whatever now. However, the cost of components for consoles and basically anything that you make over years of time, the price of those components goes down naturally. I know this because I was a supply chain major in college. That's how it works. When you produce something in mass quantities over a longer period of time, the price of each of those units goes down. That is, if you guys don't remember, that is how the last generation of consoles worked. We didn't go up in price over time. The price didn't stay stagnant over time. The price went down. And so it's not entirely the tariffs that are causing Xbox to raise the price. You could argue it's greed, which it is. It is greedy. However, it's more or less the idea that they can make money without selling you a console now. And that's why we've seen this shift from consoles to multi-platform. Xbox has abandoned their dedicated fan base essentially for multi-platform. They have started putting their exclusive games on PC. That's where it started. They started selling their games on PC on day one. Now they've started selling their games on PS5. Not day one yet. That's probably coming. They have started to sell their games on PS5 and they started selling their games on Nintendo Switch too. The two things that gave people a reason to buy an Xbox originally were value for hardware, for gaming hardware, and exclusive games. And what has Xbox essentially done? They've removed those two factors. They removed both of them. So what reason is there for anyone to buy an Xbox now? That's what I mean. They are abandoning their dedicated fan base. And we can go even deeper with this if we want to. If we go further back, we can see that Xbox essentially has used influencers to promote their agenda of Xbox through YouTube and Twitter, right? I'm not accusing them of paying them as marketing employees, but they treat their influencers well. They invite them on trips. They invite them to events. They give them exclusive access to certain events with Phil Spencer and whatnot. And so they have sort of just skewed how people view Xbox. So when people come to criticize them, they invalidate that criticism. Now, will they criticize Xbox when they do something wrong? Yeah. But do they do it with true intent? That's debatable. I mean, it depends on really which influencer we're talking about here. I'm not trying to call anyone out with any of this, but I also understand that they have to cater to their audience, their dedicated fan base, who have known them for being Xbox influencers, because that's what their fan bases are fans of. But defending Xbox when they do something wrong or lightening the load when it comes to criticism, I don't think that's right. I'm not saying that PlayStation doesn't do the same thing. They could. I have no idea. I'm not defending PlayStation today either. They're both wrong in a lot of different ways. But Xbox has sort of painted themselves as, hey guys, I'm your friend. I'm a gamer too. Look at Phil Spencer. He has painted this image of himself as being one of us, but has proven through his actions that he really isn't. And I want to be completely honest. I think Phil's a great guy. I think he's a really good person. And I think he really does want the best for everyone when it comes to games. However, at the end of the day, his bottom line is to bring profits to shareholders for his company to maintain his position. I don't love how close Xbox has gotten with their fan base, and they have misled their fan base multiple times, as we have discussed even already. But look at when they started going multi-platform and they sort of like tried to soften that up by saying that only certain games would go. Like they said select games, and now it's become pretty much every game. It's just not right. And what I think Xbox is planning to do is prioritize PC as a platform, and is proven with the upcoming Xbox ROG Ally handhelds that are coming out. That is the direction I think Xbox is going. They're going to stop making consoles and they're going to start just branding PCs as Xboxes. I mean, just look at the signs, people. PC Game Pass is cheaper. Their exclusives have been coming to PC day one for years now. The Xbox app is becoming more and more of a bigger deal as time goes by. The Xbox handhelds that are coming out have like a dedicated like Xbox app in there or whatnot that is essentially supposed to compete with the Steam Deck, but it really doesn't. It's not the same thing. They are essentially done with consoles, and it's kind of sad to see that, because I was really rooting for Xbox for a while. I can tell you guys right now, when I decided to get a console last generation, I went with the Xbox One first. Then I bought a PS4 years later on Black Friday. But I really wanted Xbox to do well because the Xbox 360 did well. And I wanted to enjoy Halo and whatnot. And Xbox has proven time and time again that their exclusives just aren't up to par anyways. And I think that also has to tie back to Game Pass. Because of the fact that it's on Game Pass, people can say, all right, well, I didn't pay for this game, so it doesn't have to be of the highest standard quality. And that is where Xbox is really at right now as a whole. Guys, this is just a video of me ranting and sort of discussing what my concerns are with the future of Xbox and what I think they are going to do next. And this is my first time really doing something like this. So I hope that you found what I spoke about to be somewhat useful to you. So if you found this video informative, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Also, you might as well hit that little bell to be the first to know when my next video comes out. This has been Killer Cam. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Peace.